Hey, you guys, how's it going? Welcome to my so-called book club. My name is Natalie. This is my channel, my so-called Gen X Life. Joining me tonight, as always, is Grendelson. How's it going, Grendelson? Are you gonna turn your microphone on? Because we cannot hear you.
Oh man, it wasn't on again?
No, there you go. Now we can hear you.
Oh yay, it wasn't on. Darn. I had a good what?
Oh no. Well, that's all right. Hey.
Oh well.
They can't all be perfect.
Anyhow. Whoa,
Hello,
look at my new hat.
Nice. I love it.
My new hat?
You're winning contests on the radio, I hear.
I won the contest on the radio from K-Rock earlier this week. They were doing a silly radio contest. I called in, I won, and they sent me a hat, and it came today, and it's
Nice.
a sweet divots at the phrase that they say on the show all the time. And I just love K-Rock. So anyway, I'm not going to wear it because you want to see this. This is what you want to see, right? You want to see my bouncy dome.
Right. Of course. So tonight we are diving into chapter 10 of the Fourth Turning, continuing from last week. We are in the actual part of the book that talks about the Fourth Turning. Tonight we are going to be focusing
10 chapters in.
I know we're going to be focusing on the Gen X part of the chapter. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up the introduction first. We'll touch on what they say about the boomers, and then we'll dive into Gen X and get into that part of the chapter. I see that Dan told us good luck getting through this without bringing politics into it. Again, we can talk about what's going on relative to the book, but we're not going to get into like actual...
I think we do pretty good about not getting into politics.
I think we do. I think we do too.
I mean, who wants to talk about Mitch McConnell right now? Come on. I don't.
No, I don't want to talk about. I mean, again, there might be mentions of current people because of that's just how it goes. But we're not getting into the minutia of it all.
We can't ignore events and stuff,
right?
But. Right. To sit here and say, get political from the 90s. It's like, what's the point of that? I'm not going to argue something that happened 30 years ago.
Right. Or 10 or even 10 years ago at this point. So we all know that the political elections that have happened in the Fourth Turning are part of the Fourth Turning. We can comment about who won, who lost, or why they won and lost, or what we think, or what that means in relative to the book. But that's all we got to do. So yes, keeping it in context.
Let's go ahead and look at what's his name, Mitt Romney's 2002 campaign, or whatever that was when he ran.
Yeah, I think that was 2012, wasn't it? He was against Obama, I think.
Oh yeah. He actually said he was too old to run. So kudos for him. He's like, nobody wants an 80-year-old president.
Right.
Okay. That's the extent of the politics you're going to get here. Okay. We'll make fun of both sides. We'll make fun of their age.
100%.
We'll make fun of them being silly. We'll make fun of them doing stupid shit. Yeah. But we're not going to, sit here and go, I'm left, you're right, bad, good.
Right.
Man, we ain't got time for that.
Exactly.
I ain't got time for that.
Me neither. I want to talk about the book, and this is the part of the book, this chapter and the next, that just really make it what it is. So
this is such goof. This is such juicy stuff. Oh my God.
It's good stuff. Let me go ahead and get the book brought up. Share screen.
You know why I thought it was 2002 is because that's when Salt Lake City had the
Olympics.
The Olympics, and I happened to visit during the Olympics were going on. Yeah, my in-laws are there, so we visited during the Olympics, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
I remember he had a lot to do with it for some reason.
Yeah, he helped bring it to the city. Yeah,
he did a good job. So, and Obamacare was Romney Care, wasn't it?
When he was governor of Massachusetts. Yep. So that's enough of all that. Let's see. I gotta find exactly where we left off.
You do that. San Diego Christie last week blew your mind. Last week blew my mind too. Yeah. especially when I had to cover for the stream at the end there. That just really made me.
Oh yeah, let's hope that my camera doesn't go off or my internet connection isn't lost. If that happens, I do apologize.
No. Hey, did you see there was like a humongo almost natural disaster here in LA? Did you see it? Did you hear it? Whoa. On Thursday, which was a day I decided not to work because I had physical therapy that day, and it was a good thing I didn't. Because I had a syncope during the physical therapy, which sucked. But anyway, yeah, I passed out. So
no, well, I'm glad you're okay.
Oh, I'm fine, and I have 2 more appointments this week, and I'm going to see my GP next week, so I'll be okay. But there was a huge water main break up on Sunset Boulevard. You know, the fabulous Sunset Strip,
right?
And it was a 36-inch pipe that exploded, and in 2 places, and there was like water coming down Sunset, going down the hill onto Santa Monica Boulevard, wiped out an entire bus depot for hours.
Oh my goodness.
And people's cars were underwater because of in their own homes. Their subterranean garages were flooded. It was flooded. So crazy.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad everybody's okay.
That's normally an area I work too. So I was like,
so you're good. Good thing that you weren't out there that good.
I know. Deal. I was like, this is crazy.
Oh my goodness. So, well, I'm glad you're here and okay. And
I didn't go near it.
Well, let's do the 4th turning. We are going to start on page 275 if you're in the written book. If you are in the digital version, we're on page 349. And tonight's thumbnail. I'm sorry, I'm having a little hard time thinking today. Tonight's thumbnail, I did use a quote from the movie Say Anything because it is quoted in this chapter as a representation of Gen X. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the thumbnail was, hold on, I was going to bring it over. I've glimpsed our future and all I can say is go back. That is what Diane Court says in the movie Say Anything. I probably could just show it. So that's the thumbnail for tonight. I've glimpsed our future and all I can say is go back. I think it caught some people's eyes. I was kind of surprised, but yeah, so that's kind of where we're going with tonight's live stream. And this part of the book is Gen X in midlife and how they have described it. This part of the book is going to be about what they projected for our generation during this time. So we'll have to see what they thought we were gonna have to put up with. So we're going to get to that in just a second. First, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the introduction of the chapter. So let's get to it. And all right. I'm going to go back over the last paragraph we did last time because it says vertiginous and I learned the word and I'm just going to say it again. The economy, because we talked about how they predicted an economic crash of some kind, which was the catalyst for the 4th turning in 2008. And they say the economy will in time recover from its early and vertiginous reversals. Late in the crisis, with trust and hope and urgency growing fast, it may even achieve unprecedented levels of efficiency and production. But by then, the economy will have changed fundamentally. Compared to today, it will be less globally dependent with smaller cross-border trade and capital flows. I don't know if we're there or not. Its business will be more cartelized and its workers more unionized, perhaps under the shadow of overt government direction, and it will devote a much larger share of its income to saving and investing. Hopefully we'll get there. 4th turning America will begin to lay out the next seculum's infrastructure grid, some higher tech facsimile of turnpikes, roads, or highways. That's definitely happening. The economic role of the government will shift toward far more spending on survival and future promises, defense, public works, and far less on amenities and past promises, elder care, and debt service. The organization of both business and government will be simpler and more centralized, with fewer administrative layers, fewer job titles, and fewer types of good and services transacted.
I think they kind of missed that one.
They missed that. They did.
Yeah.
It
didn't contract.
Yeah, and again,
expanded.
Right. A lot of this is going to be right, and a lot of this is going to be wrong. These were just guesses from 1997 about what could happen. They got the economic downturn or the economic financial problems in 08 pretty right, but the fallout from it, I don't think they were close. But you just can't know. You can't know for sure. Meanwhile,
I mean, looking back, it's hard to see why they didn't realize that the global economy was going to create more types of goods and services rather than less,
and that the government would get bigger and bigger and spend more and more, and keep going from there. I really don't think they expected the boomers to hold on like they did. I really don't think they expected that.
I think that's definitely the last vestige of the boomer organization tree.
Right.
Is still the current, trickle down, umbrella type of organization, which is, pretty much used everywhere.
Yeah, we just have, everything expands, everything gets more money, everything gets bigger and bigger. I mean, and I don't see how they would have thought that would have been streamlined, especially when it comes to government.
At this point, the only way that the economy or anything that is even related to population at all shrinks is if the population itself shrinks.
Right. Yeah.
And that ain't happening. I mean, birth rates are shrinking for sure.
Right.
But globally, 8 billion plus people keep making more people.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And streamlining and downsizing and all that is not really in the boomer lexicon. So we'll keep moving. Meanwhile, Americans will correct the unraveling social and cultural fragmentation by demanding the choice that era never offered, the choice not to be burdened by choice. This is interesting. As people again begin to trust institutional authority, again, we're not there yet. I don't think anybody's beginning to trust institutional authority, or I could be wrong. They will expect that authority to simplify the options of daily life at the store with more standardized products, on TV with fewer media channels, at the office with one pay scale and benefit package, and in the voting booth with one dominant party. Institutions will be increasingly bossy, limiting personal freedoms, chastising bad manners, and cleansing the culture. I think this might be a little bit on the cancel culture kind of stuff.
Yeah, that part I think is accurate.
Yeah. And
chastising bad manners and cleansing the culture,
right?
The culture wars that were happening around. Yeah,
definitely. Let's see. Powerful new civic organizations will make judgments about which individual rights deserve respect and which do not. Criminal justice will become swift and rough, trampling on some innocents to protect an endangered and desperate society from those feared to be guilty. Vagrants will be rounded up, the mentally ill recommitted, criminal appeals short-circuited, executions hastened. Time will pass, perhaps another decade, before the surging mood propels America to the fourth turning's grave moment of opportunity and danger, the climax of the crisis. What will this be? Recall from Chapter 9 that a climax takes a form wholly unforeseeable from the advanced distance of 25 years. Imagine some national and probably global volcanic eruption, initially flowing along channels of distress that were created during the unraveling era and further widened by the catalyst. Did we get this far last week? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, we did. Okay.
So
we went through all of this. Okay.
Maybe we didn't.
The end of last week, I got messed up because of the
I don't think we got.
Access. Okay.
I mean, it's like another part that we did, but
right,
they're going list is looking deeper. Similar, but
okay,
I don't think we got to this one because this is definitely this is highly more specific.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
Let's
Chow Young Cat.
Oh, but by the way.
$5.
Yeah, I was going to say Chow Young Cat.
Yeah. Chow Young Cat threw in 5 to define vertiginous, and I super appreciate that. It's an adjective causing vertigo, especially by being extremely high or steep. I love when we learn. Thank you, Chow Young Cat. I super appreciate it.
You. Nice name, too. I like the kitty.
I know.
I like the kitty. And I love the little kitty. Oh, I miss my kitty. It looks like a little calico.
Yeah. Remember that they're writing from 97 and they're trying to foresee the future. And as they explain, trying to foresee where the eruption will go once it bursts free of the channels is like trying to predict the exact fault line of an earthquake. All you know in advance is something about the molten ingredients of the climax, which could include the following. Economic distress.
Switch off. Let's switch off. I'll do social. Okay. You do economic.
Okay. I'll do economic. You do social. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Economic distress with public debt in default, entitlement trust funds in bankruptcy, mounting poverty and unemployment, trade wars, collapsing financial markets, and hyperinflation or deflation.
Gee, that happened. Social distress with violence fueled by class, race, nativism, or religion abetted by armed gangs, underground militias, and mercenaries hired by walled communities. Kind of that happened too.
Yep, we're in that. Cultural distress with the media plunging into a dizzying decay and a decency backlash in favor of state censorship.
Oh, God, I hope not. Technological distress with crypto anarchy, tech oligarchy, and biogenetic chaos. Sounds like the beginning of a Stephen King book.
I know, right? Ecological distress with atmospheric damage, energy or water shortages, and new diseases.
Oh, we saw that movie, didn't we? It's called Blow Up Things. Political distress with institutional collapse, open tax revolts, one-party hegemony, major constitutional change, secessionism, authoritarianism, and altered national border. I can't even get that one out.
And altered national borders. Military distress with war against terrorists or foreign regimes equipped with weapons of mass destruction. And they used that term, weapons of mass destruction, in 1997.
Do we get a bingo? Do we get a bingo? We had all of them.
I think we got about all of it.
Yeah, we got all of it. Woohoo! Bingo. We're all fourth turned. We've been fourth. Oh my God, we've been fourth turned.
I think you might have the shirt there.
Gen X, we've been fourth turned.
Yeah, we've been fourth turned. We really have. And yes, Edward, we're basically just waiting for the bottom to fall out. That's literally, and that's why I get so nervous about this fourth turning. These next 2 to 4 years, guys, we're going to see things that we never in our lifetime thought that would be possible, I think. And I can't even come up with any of your examples. I'm just saying we just have no idea how crazy it's going to get.
So, what if, just take a random hypothetical. What if it wasn't one of these things, it was all of these things, and we've had them all.
Right.
And now we've fourth turned. This is it. We had it. And now we're going to move into the next seculum. I know I'm not. I'm reaching. I'm reaching. I wish.
I know you're reaching.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I'm like grasping. I'm like, come on. Right. Maybe that was it. Maybe we already had the worst. I'm,
yeah.
I want to be real. I want to be, I know that's not true, but come on.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice? It seems like it could be true.
Right. Edward just wants to learn how to prepare or survive for it. That's actually the next chapter.
Yeah.
That's next week.
Really.
Next week is all about preparing and surviving the fourth turning. So, be back next week, and we will definitely be talking about that. I know, right? And that's a perfect opportunity for me to pause real fast.
I was about to say,
if you guys want to win a copy of this fall's reading, which is What Happened to Your Hair by Matthew and Gunnar Nelson. All you have to do is put the following phrase into the chat tonight, or you can put it into the comment section of the replay. Tonight's phrase is "after the rain." That is tonight's phrase, and that will get you an entry into the contest to win your own copy of What Happened to Your Hair by Matthew and Gunnar Nelson.
Right, that was the first song off of their album, was it not?
That's the name of their album. After the
that's the name of the album, right?
Yes. Their big album from 1990. So, yes. So, After the Rain is the phrase. Go ahead and enter.
After the Rain is the phrase that paid.
It is.
Here on radio station WJGENX.
After tonight, I like that. After tonight, you'll probably get 2 more entries, 2 more opportunities to enter, and then we will have the drawing in 3 weeks. I'm actually getting ready to buy the copies after tonight's live stream, so I will have the copies ready. And so I'd say 2 to 3 weeks, we will have the drawings and give away a copy for this fall. Yay! All right. And Dan, I think you're right. The crisis, and this is true, the crisis doesn't end until there's a clear winning side and a clear losing side. Now, whether the sides are among America, whether we're one side, America's one side, and some other enemy is the other side, that's the question. But I think that, honestly, I fear that it's probably more internal in our country than it is with a foreign enemy. And I think you're right. The crisis doesn't end until there's a clear winning side amongst the electorate. But then what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
And this is where we stop talking about politics for the rest of the evening.
Exactly. But yes, Dan is right.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
It's not as.
I will agree with that. Yeah, it's definitely, there is definitely going to be a winning and a losing.
Yep.
And this is why, me being the eternal optimist, I don't want there to be a winning and a losing side, because that means, especially if it's internal, because that means half of Americans won't be happy. Right. So can we have something? Can we have a resolution where more people are happy than not? Right. I don't think so. But I know.
And it also,
call me Rosie, call me a cockeyed optimist, but
it also, prompts me to want to go back and honestly study post-Civil War America from the 19th century.
Definitely.
To kind of see, because we don't really talk a lot about how the nation healed after that.
And didn't.
And didn't heal, right? And how things moved on after that conflict, and so just from a historical perspective, to get some knowledge of what we could be in store for us, to look back on that era and see, because I mean, we really kind of I think maybe underestimate or just really don't acknowledge that post era of, okay, well, the North won, the South lost. Well, what did that mean for our country and for our Congress and for the president and for our culture?
Yeah, more than anything for the presidency and for the actual Congress, because, don't forget, Jackson wasn't Lincoln's first VP. He was his second VP. And Hannibal Hamlin was rode out of town off of the ticket, and he was forced to take on Jackson. Right. They didn't get along at all.
Right. And there was still a lot of conflict there.
And Jackson's post-war United States was the antithesis of what Lincoln's post-war would have been if Lincoln hadn't been killed.
Right.
Would have seen a much different reconstruction, but the reconstruction was basically shaped because the wrong person was in the White House. But it is an amazing period of unprecedented growth, unprecedented corruption, unprecedented rebuilding and reforging this nation into what it is today. All of that happened between 1865 and 1885.
Right.
And it's a fascinating period of time that, we're so far away from, we cannot possibly grasp living in that time period and what that would have looked like. So relearning about what was happening and why would be super critical. And again, we're listening to that podcast I keep telling you about. They get into it. They will get it. I haven't gotten there because I'm still only in the revolution. but based on what they talked about with the revolution for like 8 weeks after,
Right.
there'll be a good stuff about the Civil War, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Aaron B says,
from both sides too. That's the good part.
That's a really good part.
It's very, very level-headed. That podcast is very much, we don't care about your politics. This is what happened. This is why it happened.
Right. Aaron B says, sorry, reading Apple in China, and I think it might be external. And that's fair enough. It could be. To lose a generation of manufacturing know-how is going to be very bad. And I would agree with that, definitely. To lose a generation of manufacturing know-how is definitely very bad. We're also creating new manufacturing know-how in current day. And this maybe an external issue or external enemy could be the catalyst that unites us as a country and avoids some kind of civil conflict. That's a possibility. I I would rather it be that than internal, but I mean, I don't know. Both are
and I would rather, and honestly, I'd rather have it be an economic, socio-economic attack rather than a physical,
right.
Warlike attack.
Yeah.
Which I think it would be. I don't think it would be. I don't think that we're going to come to armed conflict with another country. In the World War II type of, or even Vietnam, Korea, any of those types of situations. If anything, we may get another Gulf War kind of thing.
Right.
But it won't come to our shores ever,
Right.
Or I shouldn't say ever,
but we'll have to be, it will have to hit us in some way. Whether So
whether it's, an embassy overseas, or it's, something goes on in the Gulf, right? Because that's a powder keg right now.
Right.
Gosh knows what could happen.
The whole globe at this point.
Yeah. What happens if one of, let's just say a country, some country decides to take out a, cruise liner? That would definitely get us up in arms.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so many different kind of possibilities. The discussion here is just kind of like, just get your mind turning, get you thinking. And Dan, I think there's a compelling case for saying we are still living with the aftermath of the American Civil War.
Hell yeah.
Spawn issues that have never really gone away, and I would 100% agree with that.
Oh, I would as well. I think anybody with half a brain would agree with that, because it's 100% true.
Well,
they still have. There's the Robert E. Lee High School that changed its name and went to the, instead of the Rebels, went to the Legacy. They changed back to the Rebels because of shifting political in the rest of the country.
Right.
I don't care if it's good or bad. I don't care. I listen. If you want to honor your Confederate heroes, okay, I get it. It is what it is. I don't want to see it, but that's that's the area that you're in. You can't not.
Absolutely.
And I have ties to the Civil War, so I
sure.
One of my, there was a John Netling who was a Union doctor. In the Civil War. We have his discharge papers for some reason.
Oh wow, that's crazy. All right, let's get back to the text here and keep going.
Sorry, I also just came up with a good idea for like a Jack Ryan type techno thriller novel. Is bad guys, techno terrorists take out a cruise ship, and Jack Ryan, who's not the president anymore, has to go and save them. I don't know.
We need a new some new authors coming up with some crime thrillers like that. We like the old
like the Bourne Identity and the Jack Ryan.
The Bourne novels, the Jack Ryan novels, and the Crichton novels, and all that stuff.
I'm not a big fan, not to get off, but I read Hunt for Red October, and I love that book.
So. Oh yeah, the movie's great too.
And the movie is and R.I.P. Sam Neill, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Good call. Good call. And Edward, you're right. If we don't learn from the past, the future may be doomed to repeat it. And I think that's fair. Again, that goes with the cyclical nature of this theory, that things are going to happen that are kind of just unavoidable with the cycles of time, but learning from the previous cycles can help us deal with them now. So
and I'd much rather learn about the previous cycles and be forewarned,
right,
than stick my head in the ground and go, it's not happening.
Right. That's awesome, San Diego Chrissy. Your dad's family's been here since 1630 and have ancestors that fought in the Revolutionary War.
You, my dear, are a daughter of the American Revolution.
And so am I. Yes, on my dad's side of the family.
I'm eligible through the guy who was in the Civil War, and my William Netling namesake came over, I believe, in 1786 or 87. I'm not sure.
That's awesome.
But we've been here since then, and we settled in Pennsylvania. There was a building named after us at Bloomsburg University.
Wow.
It's so cool learning about my family history.
That is cool. And I think, everybody should dive into their family history. I think it's such a neat genealogy.
Do your genealogy, get your family tree done.
Yes.
I will say having Mormon in-laws was wonderful for that.
They definitely are on top of that kind of stuff.
My kid on his mom's side of the family knows, he's got that genealogy. Right. And on my side, I'm done pretty good. Like I said, I can go all the way back to 1780 something on one side.
Same here.
At least 4 or 5 generations on the other. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, and I think as Americans, I mean, I just love just our history and our heritage and our ancestors and seeing who they were and what they built, what they went through. You know, it's very it's very interesting. I'm very proud of what they did. You know, nobody's perfect on any, wherever, but building this country and doing what they did was amazing.
And the more you learn about the actual history of this country, I say this, the more patriotic you get.
Yes.
Because I mean, listen, I may have political issues with the government from time to time, whoever's in charge.
Right.
But I effing love this country. 100%. I love the Constitution of the United States of America. Here. I think it is a beautiful document.
Yes.
I've studied it, as you know. I love the way that the founders and framers of the Constitution set things up so that we always have a say. And no matter what happens in the government, I truly believe that those checks and balances will curb any type of bad behavior. Right. And it isn't the government that I trust. It is the documents that the government is based on.
Right.
And it is the people who believe in those documents and who, like myself, have a greater appreciation for those documents than anything else.
Right.
And you know who those people are because they're the ones who carry it around with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you meet a politician who doesn't have a copy of the Constitution on him, that's a problematic politician.
Here's my copy right here that I have sitting right next to me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I don't have I always, nowadays, I have it in my phone, so I don't have a copy, but I used to have one in my briefcase. So
yep, I carry one in my purse. I carry it, and I have one here on my desk. I keep them a lot of places, and I agree. We don't talk about how revolutionary it truly was to have the kind of government of the people that they created, and the checks and the balances that were put in place, and the bicameral nature of our government, having House of Representatives, having a Senate, having a president, having a court, and having all of these different things. And it was nobody had done this. Every country on planet Earth in 1776 was ruled by a sovereign, a dictator, a emperor, some kind of authoritarian head.
Democracy at that point.
Right. Not like practiced in a large context, like a country like we have. So, and I feel like in the last 40 or 50 years, like during our lifetime, I feel like the studying of American history has changed from just like awe and pride to way more criticism and hatred, if that makes sense. Not hatred, just like it's something to be like something to be mad about, or and it's because it's not perfect, or because we had people fight for the end of slavery that literally almost ended our nation. We fought on a battlefield for it. We advanced technological.
And now sometimes they don't even want, and there's people who don't even want to teach the fact that we had slavery.
Yeah.
And that's the huge problem. It's a fine line when it comes to education, in terms of, what do you teach your children? What is institutionally taught? What is taught at home? There's a lot of parents who believe that, if they don't want their children knowing, the truth about things. There's a lot of parents who do. And it's just it's a slippery slope when it comes to, curriculums. And it's just so problematic because curriculums have been politicized to the point where
100%.
This is why we have that. It exists because it's been politicized.
Right.
If you had nothing but academics running education, you wouldn't have politicization politicization.
Oh, I
as
disagree
much.
with you there. Our academic class
you'd have more academic disputes. They wouldn't necessarily be more political. They'd be academic.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
They'd be more like Napoleon was wrong. No, he was right. That kind of thing. You for sure would have historical. You would have academic disputes. I'm not saying that, but they would be less polarized. I think.
I see what you're saying.
And less politically charged than when you have politicians in charge of an academic curriculum. That's what I'm saying. Get politicians out of being in charge of a political out of the academic curriculum. Let academics create the
I would be more than happy to get government out of education in any way. I'd be all for that. Let's get moving here. We're getting behind. During the coming fourth turning, some of these climax ingredients will play little or no role at all. Others will shoot along channels that swell, diverge, and reconnect in wholly unforeseeable ways. Eventually, all of America's lesser problems will combine into one giant problem. The very survival of the society will feel at stake as leaders lead and people follow. Public issues will be newly simple, fitting within the contours of crisp yes or no choices. Yeah. People will leave niches to join interlocking teams, each team dependent on and trusting of work done by other teams. People will share similar hopes and sacrifices and a new sense of social equality. The splinterings, complexities, and cynicisms of the unraveling will be but distant memories. The first glimpses of a new golden age will appear beyond if only this one big problem can be fixed. Decisive event. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It does seem like that kind of is where we're at.
I think so. Yes. And I would definitely agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Decisive events will occur. Events so vast, powerful, and unique that they lie beyond today's wildest hypotheses. These events will inspire great documents and speeches, visions of a new political order being framed. People will discover a hitherto unimagined capacity to fight and die, and to let their children fight and die for a communal cause. The spirit of America will return because there will be no other choice. Thus, will Americans reenact the great ancient myth of the epicrosis. Ekpyrosis, I'll get it. Thus, will we achieve our next rendezvous with destiny. Emerging in this crisis climax will be a great entropy reversal, that miracle of human history in which trust is reborn. Through the fourth turning, the old order will die, but only after having produced the seed containing the new civic order within it. In the moment of maximum danger, that seed will implant and a new social contract will take root. For a brief time, the American firmament will be malleable in ways that would stagger the today's unraveling era mindset. Everything is new and yielding, enthused Benjamin Rush to his friends, the climax of the American Revolution. So will everything be again. The prospect for great civic achievement or disintegration will be high. New secessionist movements could spring from nowhere and achieve their ends with surprising speed. Even if the nation stays together, its geography could be fundamentally changed, its party structure altered, its Constitution and Bill of Rights amended beyond recognition. History offers even more sobering warnings. Armed confrontation usually occurs around the climax of crisis. If there is confrontation, it is likely to lead to war. This could be any kind of war: class war, sectional war, war against global anarchists or terrorists, or superpower war. If there is war, it is likely to culminate in total war, fought until the losing side has been rendered nil, its will broken, territory taken, and leaders captured. And if there is total war, it is likely that the most destructive weapons available will be deployed. With or without war, American society will be transformed into something different. The emergent society may be something better, a nation that sustains its framers' visions with a robust new pride, or it may be something unspeakably worse. The fourth turning will be a time of glory or ruin.
Dun, dun, dun.
How are we feeling, guys?
I don't know about you, but I think I need a drink.
I know, right? Time to take a hit.
Everybody got some booze? Oh, I need some whiskey.
And the
or
thing
some
is,
drugs.
This would have come across in 1997 as so ridiculously overdramatic and so ridiculously over the top. Some of these words that I just said about global anarchy and terrorism, or secession, or changing the Constitution, or changing, like, all of this stuff would have just been like, what? But now they don't seem so crazy.
They don't, but I mean, they do still appear to be less far-fetched than they used to be.
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely.
But I don't see. Maybe I'm just really hoping against hope, but I just don't see us collapsing into total war and anarchy and chaos worldwide. Yeah, I don't see that.
Not worldwide. Let's be honest. America is the single global superpower, and so I don't see a global war on the horizon. I think we're talking conflict here at home, and I honestly and unfortunately that's where we're at. But we shall see. The crisis. Let's get through this so we can get to Gen X. The crisis resolution will establish the political, economic, and social institutions with which our children and heirs will live for decades thereafter. Fresh from the press of history, the new civic order will rigidify around all the new authorities, rules, boundaries, treaties, empires, and alliances. The crisis climax will recede into the public memory, a heart-pounding memory to all who will recall it personally, a pivot point for those born in its aftermath, and the stuff of myth and legend for later generations. And for better or worse, everyone who survived will be left to live with the outcome. What will propel these events? As the cyclone turns, each of today's generations will enter a new phase of life, producing a crisis constellation of boomer elders, midlife 13ers, young adult millennials, and children from the new silent generation, or Gen Z. Every generational transition will contribute to the shift in mood from unraveling to crisis. As each archetype asserts its new social role, American society will reach its peak of potency. The natural order givers will be elder prophets, the natural order takers, young heroes. The no-nonsense bosses will be midlife nomads, the sensitive souls, the child artists. No archetypal constellation can match the gravitational capacity of this one, nor its power to congeal the natural dynamic of human history into new civic purpose. And none can match its potential power to condense countless arguments, anxieties, cynicisms, and pessimisms into one apocalyptic storm.
Think of all that. I mean, we're so freaking the current constellation of generations is so powerful right now that we have all the control over everything that's going to happen.
I mean,
I feel like Magneto right now. You know? I feel like Thanos.
I really truly think we're looking at a mixture of the fourth turning of the Civil War and the fourth turning of World War II, because not only is it I think we're going to be in an internal conflict. I think the outcomes will set the stage for the next 80 years, like World War II did for the order, if that makes sense. So have a Civil War type conflict with an outcome of World War II type stuff, because like I said, what happens now, what we're getting ready to go through is going to determine the course of things for our children, our grandchildren, and beyond. And we're still living under the World War II order. It's busting apart, but we're still living under it.
and the thing is we will be for another 50 years. Listen, we're still, and the World War II stuff was all created by World War I. So, you know, it all, and World War I happened because of, you know, countless other things that happened.
Global politics. Well, it was wars between sovereigns. And there were territorial wars amongst different European countries.
Remember that Austro-Hungarian Empire?
Exactly.
Remember that thing? The Ottoman Empire? Remember those things? The British Empire?
I mean, the European
This is the fall of the American Empire now, is what we are seeing.
I don't know if it's the fall. I think it might be the transition, but I don't know if it's a fall. It could be. But yeah, the European Union wasn't even created until the 90s. So like all of this stuff that we're living with is still a fallout of the post-World War II.
The European Union.
Yeah, I don't think kids know that. I don't think kids know that the European Union was created in 97.
And isn't it funny that like my first reaction when I hear the words European Union is laughing because it's a joke.
The EU,
because it's a joke. You know, it's like what is this? What? Oh, you can go back and forth, and we all have one currency except for Britain, and we're not in it anyway.
Yeah.
What? What? And you could already go back and forth between country and country. You know.
Yeah.
You could. It's not like here. You could go from France to Germany in a day. What? It's not like here. It's like going from the SoCal to NoCal. It's different.
Robert is right. Nothing lasts forever. That is true. And that is true. I mean, the world that we grew up in no longer exists. Nothing lasts forever. Things change.
Did they call it the textile war overseas? I didn't know that.
Huh. That is interesting. Yeah, the slavery wasn't really a home problem. I mean, slavery was all over the world. It would just happen to be one of the major parts of the conflict here at home.
Yeah, well, and it was a part, but it wasn't the only part. And there was a lot of other parts that were the economic issue. The fact that the North had been squeezing the South out for since 1700s, that didn't have anything to do with it.
Absolutely.
And the South, let's get into that.
Let's
move on into the Civil
Gen
War
X part. I miss our simple times of the 80s for sure. I agree with you, San Diego Chrissy. Go back. All I can say is
I miss San Diego in the
80s. All right. Here's the end of the introduction. Think of all the boomers, 13ers, and millennials you know or know about today. Picture them 10 to 30 years older, pursuing the archetypal paths of ancestral generations during prior fourth turnings. This will be America's next crisis constellation, capable of propelling America into and through the next great gate in history.
Well, I couldn't. A lot of those people I knew they're dead now.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but 30 years ago, I'm thinking of about a good dozen people I knew 30 years ago who ain't with us no more.
Right.
So
yep.
I can only imagine, and thinking about it from back then to now. Ooh.
I know. We're going to skip over the boomer part of the chapter. I was telling Grendelson before we came on that I was kind of surprised how unself-aware that Strauss and Howe were on their own generation and their, and again, nobody could really predicted that the boomers are never going to get rid of power. They're never going to let it go. They're never, and they really missed that. But I mean, who could have known?
I got one little sentence here that's perfect. Boomer gerontologist Harry Moody sees a 21st century shift to a contemplative old age that eliminates today's focus on activity and instead transcends doing in favor of being.
I know. Well, that's actually pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm over the boomers, and I really want to focus on Gen X because.
Why do we think the boomers didn't let go? Because who wants to let go of power? I mean, you get power. The first time you ever get power, I'll tell you, the first time I remember somebody actually listening to me at my wedding, that was amazing. I was like, what the heck is going on? You get power and you never want to give it up. Of course, I got married and gave up all my power. So,
Right. But, previous generations had gotten old and relinquished power to the next generation, but the boomers are just hanging on for dear life. And I
have a theory. I don't mean to cut you off. But
no, it's okay.
The boomers had zero faith in any of the upcoming generations.
Yes.
Whereas the generation gaps previously were never quite as bad as between the boomers and the rest of the generations that they spawned.
That's a fair point.
They hated
us from day one.
They hated, and they took their own hatred of their own forebears and projected it downward.
Right.
Whereas other generations actually, especially the older generations, the GIs, the silents, and the greatest. I mean, the greatest is the GIs, but the silents and the greatest, they recognized that the younger generations had value and had, new and exciting ideas they wanted to see implemented. The boomers were not willing to do so.
And the boomers grew up as this most indulged generation, this most boomer focused generation, and everything was about them. It has always been about them from the moment they've arrived on the scene. And I think it's almost self-perpetuating narcissism at this point. Like, they just can't even imagine a world where they're not the center of the universe, and where those that are coming after them are worth any kind of thought or or consideration. They have been mad at us and hated us since we arrived. And
the millennials got it even worse.
And the millennials have gotten it worse. Yeah.
Yeah, because they helicoptered them to death, and then they said they were worthless.
Right.
So, they did the exact opposite of the neglect. They overprotected. And the generation turned out even worse.
And they also overpromised and underdelivered. Go to college, get in debt, do this, do that, and then you're going to be successful, and all will be well. And
oh my God, can I tell you something?
Sure.
I found my dad's transcripts from UCLA. He graduated in 1974.
Yeah.
I looked up and I saw how much he paid for tuition.
Yep.
$400. That was it for the entire year.
For the entire year? That wasn't just a semester?
No, that was it. A quarter. Yeah, no, that was it. My tuition was like 10 grand or something like that per quarter.
Wow.
Or whatever it was. Maybe I was 5 grand. I don't know. I got a student loan and I'm never paying it. So,
Well, there you go.
All right, refuse. Come and get me. Take my degree away, but I'm never paying it. Yeah, it was. I looked it up. It was 1974. He had a GI Bill, and he paid $400 for an entire year of college at UCLA. We got the same exact degree, but I had a better GPA.
Oh, you did? Well, that's worth it.
Oh, it was totally worth it because I got back at him for all those arguments in high school when he said my grades were sucking. Shows you, Dad, when I graduated college, 25 years after your death. I beat you.
I beat you.
Anyway,
all right. Are you guys ready to get into the Gen X of it all? This is what they had. This is what they foresaw for Gen X as we were in midlife in the fourth turning. Let's get to it. Let's have some fun. All right. Here we go.
We need a theme song. Generation. What's our theme song?
We do. I know. I've so dropped the ball.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. That was my freaking graduating high school anthem because it was like we were all going off to college. We were all by the way, I did find my newspapers. And we had a list of all the places that the kids were going to school, and like half of them were UCSB, UCSD, UC whatever, Harvard, Cornell, Princeton, NYU.
Yeah.
I mean, kids in my school were nerds. Shout out Gompers Secondary, class of 88. We rock.
Yay! Okay, here we go. Ready? 13ers entering midlife. We're doing it anyway. 13 years entering midlife. Doom players. All right.
Doom.
Now
we can play Doom on anything now. You know that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've never played Doom.
I've seen people play Doom on a pregnancy test.
Oh. Yeah. I don't even know how that works or what that means, but okay.
Moving on.
Now, once more, the belt is tight, and we summon the proper expression of horror as we look back at our wasted youth. F. Scott Fitzgerald said after the crash that hit his peers at the cusp of what should have been their highest earning years. A generation with no second acts, he called his lost peers, but they proved him wrong. They ended their frenzy and settled down, thus helping to unjangle the American mood. Where their missionary predecessors had entered midlife, believing in vast crusades, the post-crash lost, skipped the moralisms, and returned directly to the basics of life. What is moral is what you feel good after, declared Ernest Hemingway. What is immoral is what you feel bad after. Everything depends on the use to which it is put, explained Reinhold Niebuhr on behalf of a generation that did useful things regardless of faith, a role the missionaries chose not to play. This no second act generation lent America the grit to survive dark global emergencies and in the end triumph over them. In the Great Depression, the lost were hard hit but refused to ask for public favors. In World War II, they manned the draft boards, handed out the ration coupons, mapped the invasions, and dispatched the bomber fleets. They gave the orders that killed thousands but saved millions. From blood and guts generals to give 'em hell presidents, the lost knew how to prevail over long odds and harsh criticism. This was the last time the nomad archetype entered a fourth turning. Remember, we are the nomad archetype of this fourth turning.
Right. So basically what they're saying is that we are akin to that lost generation that were the midlifers during World War II, the ones that were in charge of the infrastructure, not necessarily the fighting itself.
Right.
Those were the GI generation, the younger ones. So we have to be the pencil pushers. We have to be the infrastructure that is going to move this forward, which is perfect for our role because that's what we do.
Right. I mean, we have to do the hard things. We have to do the hard things.
The things that nobody else wants to do and then nobody else knows how to do.
Yeah.
So, that's our job. Yep. And we're good at it.
Yep. That's where we fit.
I mean, let's face it, we're good at it. Everybody looks to us and is like, what does Gen X think?
Right.
It's becoming it's a meme for the younger generations at this point. It's like we're the ones who we're now supposed to save everybody.
That's going to be next week when we talk about what our role is of how to deal with this. It's going to be a fun discussion next week. So
wait, you mean I teased for next week?
You did. You teased for next week.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting so pro at this stuff.
I know.
Right?
You're like a total pro. You totally need to have your own channel. I don't know why you don't.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's that egocentrical, that narcissism thing.
Yes.
I'm Gen X, so promoting myself doesn't work very well.
Hey, I have a faceless channel. The only time I'm ever on screen is during a live stream, so I get it.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, we were.
And then on Friday's live stream, you weren't on at all. You were just Everyone has a podcast. Everyone has an Andy Dick story, including me. Yeah. And everyone has had a podcast.
Yes.
So, yeah. 100%. I mean, I'd love to do a podcast. It's funny. One of my friends has a podcast. I mean, I have multiple friends have podcasts, but one of my non-friends one of my non-industry friends has a podcast.
Yeah. Everyone's got to have one. Everybody, know.
all the people at the Improv Theater, they all have podcasts. I've been on a podcast. I've been a guest on a podcast. That was fun. It was an improv podcast. I got to play a character.
It's the way of the world. And a Gen Xer created the whole idea of the podcast, which was a former MTV VJ. His name's Adam Curry, and he launched the whole podcast thing back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I love Adam Curry. The big hair dude.
Yeah, the big blonde hair guy. MTV VJ in the late 80s. He was the one that started the whole podcasting and had the first platform online. And he'll tell you, he was on Joe Rogan once talking about how they started it and how this was like in 2003, 2004. And they started the whole, Curry. And he still has his podcast now. It's been on for 25 years.
And isn't it funny that the actual item that the podcast is named for is no one has anymore? I
know.
When was the last time you had an iPod?
Right. I don't think I ever had an iPod, to be honest with you. I think I went from Walkman and Discman straight to phones. Like I never had the digital in between.
Skipped that generation. Yeah. That's funny. Well, it wasn't around very long.
No, it wasn't.
It only had it didn't even have a 10-year lifespan, because when was the iPhone was what, 2006, and the iPod was what, 2001 or 2 or
2001.
Like
yeah, it was only around for 4 years before they went to the whole phone thing. Yeah. So I just went. I was a CD girl and all that until the phones. I just never got into the.
I'll tell you what though, that iPod, the one and only iPod I ever got, I got a 4th generation mini, and it was blue, and that thing lasted forever. My kid ended up listening to it as their nighttime music. We put in a whole lullaby, playlist for them. We got one of those clock radios that had the speaker and just plugged the iPod in, and that's what they listened to all night.
Nice. Yeah. There's something to be said for having all that music all in one little spot like that and have it curated for your. I like the concept of the iPod better than the phone part of everything.
I don't have any music on my phone. In fact, all of my music is on a USB stick that is plugged into my car currently. That's all of my music collection. I don't care because it's all digital, so I don't really care as long as I can, get it again. I don't physical. I'm over physical because I just don't want to have stuff. If you saw my apartment, you'd be like, yeah, I can see why you don't want stuff.
You're a minimalist, are you, Grendelson?
I would love to. No, I want to be, but I can't because I have boxes full of Japanese anime merchandise. I'm supposed to be getting
that's not going to work. Yeah.
No, not stuff I even bought either. It's not even mine, but
I got physical media like you wouldn't believe, and I'm honest with you. I want to acquire.
I have actually curated my DVD collection to the point where these are the movies that I want to keep, that I will watch over and over again.
Yeah, that's fair.
And want to be able to watch over and over again when I want to watch them. It's, maybe 200 movies and a bunch of TV shows. Okay.
Right.
I don't buy new stuff very often, but if there's something that I want to watch that isn't available streaming and that it's something I will want, like I was just thinking the other day, 9 to 5. I love that movie. I've seen it a million times. I would get that on DVD just so I could make sure I would have it. So stuff like that. So, but I don't buy new stuff anymore because I just don't want the room.
That's okay.
Just don't have the room.
That's all right.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. In a recent, again, this was written in 1997. In a recent genre of action films, from War Games and Back to the Future to Terminator and Independence Day, a stock drama unfolds. A young protagonist, alone, unprepared, and immersed in a junkie culture, is chosen by chance to decide the fate of humanity. The situation looks dicey. The protagonist, too, has slim expectations of success. But at a pivotal moment, this lonely wayfarer challenges destiny, deals with the stress, zeroes in on what matters, does what is required, and comes out on top. The most popular video. Yeah, what?
I want to interject something.
Sure.
Total Joseph Campbell Heroes archetype.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Well, it is the Gen X way. The most popular video games following the same script stress one-on-one action and deft timing. Find a treasure, grab the tools, rescue a princess, save the kingdom, slay the enemy, and get out alive. Everything is yes,
steal
no.
the car, rape the woman, do the drugs,
Everything is yes, no, full of code words and secret places. In a style one TV executive calls Indiana Jones meets a game show.
That was Double Dare.
Yeah. I've glimpsed our future, warns a high school valedictorian in the film Say Anything. And all I can say is go back. The message to her classmates is understandable because nomad generations, what Christian Slater refers to as a long list of dead famous wild people, have always been the ones who lose ground in wealth, education, security, longevity, and other measures of progress. Yet they have also been the generations who lay at the fulcrum between triumph and tragedy, the ones who hoist their society through the darkest days of crisis.
And that's who we are.
And that's who we are.
We are the real backbone of this, the fourth turning. People, we are the heroes we have to be.
Yes.
So let's step up and not be at war with everybody. Okay, let's just have a good time and get high, right?
Absolutely. Can we all just get along?
Let's go back and watch Legends of Hidden Temple, which was Indiana Jones. You're right. I didn't watch that show because it was just slightly older than me. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
And beloved media is hard to get rid of. I got rid of so much on VHS that I had to rebuy on DVD, and then I got rid of a lot of that. And so it's like it's hard to get rid of the good stuff.
I still do have some record. I have a copy of the Muppet movie soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's I mean, fantastic. just because I have it, I don't want to get rid of it. I don't even have a record player right now. So, I'm not going to get rid of it. I found a stack of 45s from the 80s and 90s that I bought.
Nice.
Yeah, every one of those songs is on digital somewhere, but I love those records. And although I probably would sell some of them because I don't really care, but some of them. I have a Matthew Sweet promotional vinyl of Girlfriend.
Nice. I had the promotional.
It has red. it has red vinyl. It's so
nice.
Awesome.
That is sweet. Yeah, look outside for the Gen X bat symbol. We need to create a Gen X bat symbol.
The big X. It's the X-Men symbol, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of which, the X-Men are coming back.
Yeah, if you haven't played the game Retro Rewind, I highly recommend it. If you miss your VCR and VHS tapes and your VHS rewinder.
Oh, that the one?
That's the
one
game
where you play the
run your own video store.
Run your video store.
Yeah,
I want to do that.
I may or may not have spent some time doing that in the last few weeks.
I feel like there's like this other one where you can run your own like trading card store. I think that was fun too.
All right, let's keep going. The onset of the fourth turning will find 13ers retaining their troubled reputation. The only change being that America's troubled age bracket will then be perceived as more 40-ish than 20-ish. They will carry the reputation for having come of age at a time when good manners and civic habits were not emphasized in homes and schools. With their arrival, midlife will lose moral authority and gain toughness. Their culture will be a hodgepodge of unblending styles and polyethnic currents that will reflect the centrifugal impulse from which many Americans, including 13ers, will now be eager to escape. In the economy, 13ers will fare significantly worse than boomers did at like age back in the mid-1980s. They will fan out across an unusually wide range of money and career outcomes. A few will be wildly successful. A large number will be destitute, while most will be losing ground but doing tolerably. The crisis era's image of a middle-aged worker will be a modest-wage job hopper who retains the flexibility to change life directions at a snap. They've got this so on money on the point here.
I've had 5 different careers. Yeah, I get it.
The prototype midlife success story will be the entrepreneur who excels at cunning, flexibility, and high-tech ingenuity. The prototype failure will be the ruined gambler, broke but still trying. The high-risk harbors where 13ers will have bet their stray cash during the unraveling, from lottos to Indian casinos to derivative markets, will, like this generation, be stigmatized and left to rot.
Well, they got that one wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more ways to gamble now than there ever have been. It's gotten to and it's really, that part has really become and lotteries and gambling, that part is an interesting, that would be something interesting to look at, more deeply, because I think there's something else there, but I think
and I don't think it's not as literal. I think it's more metaphorical of risk takers
but it's gambling. Not just here. It's not just, but it's also not just focused on Gen X. That's just almost a whole swath of the entire public is addicted to these gambling formats, whether it's the scratchers or whether it is the online gambling. It's across the
you also people that play the markets,
the cohorts. If you can play the market, believe me, if you can,
all the poly market and all the different websites now where you can bet on anything. But those high risk again, I think it's not just the gambling. I think it's just risk takers in general, in general as well, if that makes sense, because a lot you take risk on all kinds, especially with money. Starting a business is taking a risk. There's different risks to different things, but yes, I think the gambling part definitely has but I took it as more metaphorical than literal, but
okay,
that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, the mentality of gambling in this country has really, globally, has just become quite. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready to be able to bet on how long somebody's speech would be, or
and that's and honestly, that's the kind of stuff that leads to Hunger Games. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
How long is it gonna be before you can bet on or Running Man,
anything? Yeah. As they confront their money problems amid a mood of deepening crisis, 13ers will take pride in their ability to have a life and wall off their families from financial woes. Their divorce rate will be well below that of midlife silent and boomers. That is true. Our divorce rate is lower. They will clamp down on children. In exchange for financial help, many will invite their better off parents to live with them. That has happened for some of us, not for all of us. But yeah. Some of it's not inviting their better off parents to live with them. It's going to live with your better off parents as you take care of them in their aging years.
or it's your children don't move out.
Right. Surveying
I love my child.
Yes, I'm sure you do. Surviving the crisis era detritus of the unraveling, 13ers will see the opposite of what the midlife silent saw in the awakening era wreckage of the high. Where the silent felt claustrophobic, yearning to break free in a world that felt too closed, 13ers will feel agoraphobic, yearning to root in a world that feels too open. Oh my God, yes. Where the silent were torn between the socially necessary and the personally desirable, 13ers will be torn between the personally necessary and the socially desirable. Gripped with deeply felt family obligations, 13-year-olds will resist the idea of relaxing their survival instincts, yet will sense the need to restore a sense of community. They will widen the continuing dispersions of technology and culture, yet will vote for politicians who promise to reverse it. Middle-aged Hispanic, Asian, and Arab Americans, among others, will embrace their racial or ethnic identities, yet will yearn for new ties to the communal core.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The Unraveling's initial 13er pop elite will lose influence as their peers tire of the old ways and seek something simpler and less frenzied. Those who persist in the discarded culturama will be chastised and perhaps even quarantined in the newly wholesome millennial youth culture. A few aging outcasts will scatter around the world, feeling like those whom Doug Copeland calls a white Russian aristocracy exiled in Paris cafes, never to get what is due to us. Replacing them as the cutting edge of their generation will be the revenge of the nerds, slow but steady plotters, many of them ethnics, who will overtake the quick strikers who took one risk too many. The 13er mindset will be hard-boiled and avuncular, the risk-taking now mellowed by a crisis-era need for security. Middle-aged people will mentor youth movements, lend stylishness to hard times, and add nuts and bolts workmanship to the resolute new mood. They will be begrudgingly respected for their proficiency in multimedia and various untutored skills, to which old boomers will be blind and young millennials dismissive. Throughout the economy, 13ers will be associated with risk and dirty jobs. They will seek workable outcomes more than inner truths. We won't have had a bad backlash against our lost idealism, predicts slacker filmmaker Richard Linklater, since his generation never had that to begin with. Like Hemingway, their moral judgments will be situational, based on how everybody feels afterward.
We even had a TV show called Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
That was done by a Gen Xer.
Yep, absolutely. I don't think Linklater is technically a boomer, or Jen Jones. I think he's like 1960, but I will accept Linklater.
He's definitely, if he's not Gen X, he is our,
the godfather of the generation.
Yeah, he's a god. He's like the godfathers with Strauss and Howe and Copeland. And all those guys may not necessarily be Gen X, but they're the ones who actually gave a crap about us and and told us who we were and or who we could be. You know? Right. So they're like,
he was a cusper. Yeah, he was definitely a cusper, and
they would be on the. That would be my Rushmore of Gen X godfathers would be Strauss, Howe, Doug Copeland, and Richard Linklater. Yeah. Maybe QT. I mean, I would put QT, but yeah.
As the crisis deepens, 13ers will feel little stake in the old order. Little sense that their names and signatures are on the social contract. They will have reached full adult maturity without ever having believed in either the American dream or American exceptionalism. They will never have known a time when America felt good about itself, when its civic and cultural life didn't seem to be decaying. No, that's not true. We remember it.
Yeah, we remember it.
We remember it.
Yeah, we remember it. It was the 90s and it was good.
Yeah, from childhood into midlife, they will have always sensed that the nation's core institutions mainly serve the interests of people other than themselves. Well, that I'll give them. Definitely. Our core institutions have served the interest of not us. Not many of their classmates and friends will have built public sector careers. That's true. Apart from teaching and police work, most 13ers will have oriented their lives around self-help networks of friends and other ersatz institutions that have nothing to do with the government. The we're not worthy 13er streak of weak collective esteem will define and enhance their new civic role. Where the boomers' unraveling era narcissism interfered with America's ability to exact even minor sacrifice for the public good, the 13ers' ironic self-deprecation will render their claims unusually selfless. We may not get what we want. We may not get what we need, chanted the young adults in true colors, just so we don't get what we deserve. They will vote against their own short-term interest if persuaded that the community's long-term survival requires it. I think that's true. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so because we do see the long-term rather than the short. And it's like we'll vote for a small tax increase for certain things if we believe in them. Because we'll it's supposed to be a temporary thing. We believe that BS.
We're definitely more long-term thinkers, and also because we remember the way it was. We do remember the good things when America. I remember the American dream, the American exceptionalism, and
I do as well.
Yeah, and we're the only ones that seem to remember or care about that. And I don't know, but we definitely will make the. We'll vote against our own interest to help the cause of our country. I think
because the boomers didn't see the 90s as being that great,
right? Which is wild because they got the presidency.
And the millennials weren't old enough to understand. But we who were the young the young cohort did understand that, hey, we got it good right now, and let's hope it. I mean, I remember sitting there going, God, this isn't going to last forever, is it? No. When's it going to end?
It never occurred to me that it wasn't.
Get ready. I can.
Yeah. It never occurred to me that it wasn't.
Get ready. I can't,
Where the silent once agonized over procedural braking mechanisms, where boomers had huge arguments over gesture and symbolism, 13er voters will disregard motive and ideology and will simply ask if public programs get results that are worth the money.
Yep.
In the fourth turning's next New Deal, 13ers will be strategically located between moralistic old boomers and cherished young millennials. With 13ers occupying the margins of political choice, no intergenerational bargain will be enacted without their approval. In the Breakfast Club, a boomer teacher despaired of the thought that makes me get up in the middle of the night that when I get older, these kids are going to take care of me.
No, we're not.
As elder benefits hit the fiscal wall, boomers and 13ers will, like siblings, half remember and half forget how they behaved toward each other in earlier decades. There will be some talk of ethno-generational war as non-Anglo 13ers attack boomer benefits as what former Social Security Commissioner Dorcas Hardy has called a mechanism by which the government robs their children of a better future in order to support a group of elderly white people. Led by ethnic populists, 13ers will strike a hard bargain with elders they will collectively perceive as lifelong hypocrites within a weak claim on the public purse. So long as the next New Deal hits boomers hard, 13ers won't mind if it's projected to hit themselves even harder.
That's so sad, but true.
Yeah.
I mean, and isn't it really like now we're getting to the point where the boomers might be the last generation to actually get Social Security? Yeah. Isn't that nice? Isn't that just the creme de la creme on the top of the S cake that we've all been delivered? You know what I mean?
But again, I've thought that my whole life that I just never thought in a million years that we would ever get Social Security. And honestly, it's a crappy program, you know, and it needs to be changed. It needs to do something with it, but all the money that you pay into Social Security would be 10x on the private sector market, but instead we got to, you know, settle for $2,000 a month checks, or if that. Like, it's such a horrible system that something's going to have to happen to it, and we're not going to get it. That's for sure. Let's keep going. As the crisis rages on, the era's stark new communitarianism will require 13ers to rivet new grids in place. New breed mayors and governors will abandon old labels and alliances, patch together people and technology, and rekindle public support for community purpose. Having grown up in a time when walls were being dismantled, families dissolved, and loyalties discarded, 13er power brokers will reconstruct the social barriers that produce civic order. They will connive first to get the people behind them, next to bribe or threaten people into doing what's needed, and then to solidify those arrangements onto something functional. They won't worry about the obviously insoluble and won't fuss over the merely annoying. Their politicians won't brim with compassion or nuance and won't care if they have to win ugly. To them, the outcome will matter more than democracy's ritual aesthetics. Their hands strengthened by the demands of crisis, 13ers will sweep aside procedural legalisms and promises legislated by old regimes, much to the anguish of the octogenarian silent. They won't mind uttering and listening to the soundbite that seems to sum up a situation with eloquent efficiency. To critics, the new style of 13er urban leadership will appear unlearned, poorly rooted in values, even corrupt, but it will work. Ooh, excuse me. This generation's institutional rootlessness will make its leaders and electorates highly volatile, capable of extreme cross-currents. Lacking much stake in the old order, many 13ers might impulsively welcome the notion of watching it break into pieces. They won't regard the traditional safety nets as important in their lives. The real-life experience of their own circles will reinforce their view that when people lose jobs or money, they can find a way to cope, deal with it, and move on. Looking back on their own lives, they will conclude that many of the awakening and unraveling era trends that may have felt good to older generations didn't work so well for them or for the nation. Come the crisis, many 13ers will feel that emergency action is necessary to recreate the kind of secure world they will feel was denied them in childhood. In this environment, 13ers could emerge as the leaders of a crisis-era populism based on the notion of taking raw action now and justifying it later. A charismatic, anti-intellectual demagogue could convert the ad slogans of the third turning into the political slogans of the fourth. No excuses. Why ask why? Just do it. Start with a winner-take-all ethos that believes in action for action's sake, exalts strength, elevates impulse, and holds weakness and compassion in contempt. Add class desperation, anti-rationalism, and perceptions of national decline. The product, at its most extreme, could be a new America fascism. How y'all feeling?
I hate that.
How we doing that out there?
Yicky. I don't want to have no new fascism.
I know. How we doing out there, guys?
Smalls, yeah. You're killing me, Smalls. Cis Indian Christy. Yep.
Yep. All right, let's keep going. The core features of the 13ers midlife will be the crisis itself. Early in the era, the Great Devaluation could quash many a midlife career and cause real hardships to families under their protection. Like the lost generation in the 1920s, 13ers will have bought into the unraveling era boom market late and high, only to sell out late and low. That definitely happened a lot in 08 for those that didn't ride it through. Many of the traits that were criticized for decades, their survivalism, realism, lack of effect, will now be recognized as vital national resources. The emergency will melt away much of the unraveling era's old fuss about political correctness. Now, 13ers will hear far less complaint about their soldiers being too much the warrior, their entrepreneurs too much the operator, their opinion leaders too much the blunt talker. As the crisis catalyzes, they will recall the old Jesus Jones lyric, feel themselves right here, right now, watching the world wake up from history, and know they are the generation on the spot. Though 13ers will have little ability to influence the elements and timing of the boomer-propelled crisis, they will provide the on-site tacticians and behind-the-scenes bosses whose decisions will determine its day-to-day course. Middle-aged 13ers will be the only ones capable of deflecting the more dangerous boomer tendencies. The boomers won't check themselves, nor will millennials, so the task will fall to 13ers to force the boomer priest warriors to give it a rest when the fervor gets too deep, to get real when the sacrifices outweigh the future reward. A 13er may indeed be the intrepid statesman, general, or presidential advisor who prevents some righteous old Aquarian from losing the fateful lightning and turning the world's lights out. At or just after the crisis climax, 13ers will supplant boomers in national leadership. History warns that they could quickly find themselves playing a real-world Sim City, facing quick triage choices about who and what to sacrifice, and when and how. They will need every bit of those old Doom player joystick skills, the deft timing, the instinctive sense of what counts and what doesn't, the ability always to move on from one problem to the next. Whatever they do, they will get more than their share of the blame and less than their share of the credit. As the crisis resolves, the society will be fully in 13er hands. If all ends well, their security-minded leadership will usher the society away from urgent crusades and into the next high. If not, 13ers will be left with no choice but to yank younger generations by the collar, appraise what's left of their society, and start anew. How are we feeling, guys? Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, we're either gonna create a shining
shining city on a hill.
Or I was getting there. Or we're gonna burn it down like the fiery phoenix, which, by the way, the Phoenix was the name of my high school newspaper. So
nice.
How appropriate, yes, that the Ectrigus that you were talking about earlier is a rebirth. And yeah, I think I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think a lot of the old paradigms are just gonna crumble.
And I honestly, not to get political, but I honestly think the 2028 election is going to be kind of the battle, of our generation, because I think both candidates are probably going to be Gen Xers.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I'm starting to see, and again, not to get too political, but I am actually starting to see some people on the left-hand side who might be making some waves. I'm actually starting to.
Same on the right.
And that's fine. I mean, we've got to have new blood.
It's going to happen.
Like, I don't care who it is. It's got to be somebody new, and it's got to be.
This is going to be a Gen X election. 2028 is going to be this could be our only president in our lifetime. Probably. Not. Who knows? But yeah, I think that the 2028 election will be kind of Gen X on display as far as our leadership, our ideas, and who's gonna side with who. Whom? I'm sorry, who's gonna side with whom? I want to get my grammar correct.
That's okay.
but yeah, between and all not just the presidential, but the Congress as well. But I think that, and who knows, that could be the war. It's just at the ballot box.
I'm tending to think that that's, I mean, I don't see us getting into a shooting war with each other.
No,
there will be some violence, but I don't think that there's going to be that type of civil war, shooting war, violent war.
Right.
War of ideologies for sure.
Yes.
And I think that something is going to happen that brings us, closer together. At this point, to me, it's seeming to be more weather related. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
But I think there might be some natural disaster that's coming that's going to require us all to start working together.
Right.
I hope not. Again, I'm not wishing this on anything, but I could see a very large ecological disaster bringing people together and getting us out of this turning and into the fourth turning and into the first turning.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where. I don't know where. I don't know what. It could, it could be down south. It could be, anywhere.
I hope you're right. I mean, part of me thinks that our political divide in this country is so vast.
Yeah.
And there's so much hatred over ideologies and beliefs and from both sides that, I mean, people are cutting themselves off from their friends and their families on both sides because of politics. I'm not 100% sure that an ecological disaster could fix that, but I don't know shit.
It does. The thing is that major events that are obviously unforeseen do have the tendency to bring people closer together. So that's kind of why I feel it's going to be something like that, because I am of the dire hope that we do come together, because the divisiveness in this nation right now is verging on the same place that we were in 1860 and 1861.
And it's nasty.
So it is, but I also feel like, I don't know, we gotta on both sides, we also all have to just sit there and go, what are we doing? Why are we just this ingrained and unwilling to see the other point of view?
Right.
And as I see the generations getting older and older, and maybe it's getting better. I don't know. It does seem like it is nasty, but then you go out there and it definitely feels like it's nasty online. It definitely feels like it's nasty in, talking heads and pundits and everything.
Yeah,
but is it
the role
really,
of the media here is
get
really,
out there?
Yeah.
When we get out there and are amongst each other, are we nasty to each other? I don't think so. I don't know.
Most of us, I don't think we are. I don't think we are. And honestly, Samantha, I have a hard time seeing what could bring us together. I think there's a big question, elephant in the room type of thing, that I can touch on and just move on. But I think the big question is, what is America? Who are we? What are we? How do we see ourselves in our country moving forward? And there's a fight over that essential question. Am I true? And I think that question has to be answered.
I know but the fight over that essential question. Yeah. I mean, it's that question has been asked since the day the Declaration of Independence was signed. Right. I mean, we're never not going to have that conflict. I think it's up to us as individuals to learn how to just better navigate those internal conflicts. Like honestly, like it needs to be stuff like bringing together people from both sides of the ideology, bring together and come together and form common ground like you and I have done.
Well, here, like, and I'm gonna test us a little bit here,
go ahead.
I don't want us to go crazy.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
We have, and this is probably the most serious thing I'll ever bring up on my channel, and I don't want to get into the weeds on it, but we had, and this is basically what has happened over the last 10 or 5 to 10 years. We've had about 20 to 30 million people come into our country that aren't from here. And so we have to decide, as Americans, left and right, Gen Xers, what does that mean and how do we deal with it?
Yeah.
Because that's, to me, I think, a really big question. And I don't know how you come together on that and how we figure that out. And I think that's one of the biggest questions that's causing all of the other conflict is how do we deal with what that happened? So how do we deal with it? You know what I'm saying?
I understand where you're coming from, because especially I can play devil's advocate, and I can tell you that is not something that people on the left-hand side are even considering as a major problem.
See, on the right,
and I don't want to.
I don't want to get into.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
okay, I'm not going to go further. Yeah. I'm not going to give you. I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. I think that's a very valid point of view. It's a very valid question. Yeah. It's a question that has been asked since the day the Declaration of Independence was signed. Who are we as a people? Do we want to be welcoming to immigrants? And how much of this nation is built on immigration? How much can we sustain? Is it sustainable? And what happens to all these people? All of these questions, while they are important, they are 100% important, but I can guarantee you, and I can guarantee you that there are people on both sides who do not consider that issue as being as prominent as you would like it to be. And, it
might depend on what part of the country you're in. It might depend on your social circle.
Yeah. I'm just saying, and again, I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an opinion that I'm willing to share at this point. Because I don't this is not the forum. And I understand where you're coming from. And I definitely agree that it's a very important question. San Diego's got a huge issue with it. LA, we're, you know where I'm at. And
it is a national identity. Yeah, it's a national identity thing. And
it is. And at the same time, at some point, all of us came over here. None of us are from here unless you're Native American. So it's such a but you know what I mean. So let's I
think it is tough. It is tough here, but I think this might be the question that they're talking about in the book, as far as every problem comes down to one thing, like and then we gotta figure it out, because that's how we can't move on until we figure it out. And I think that might be one of the questions that we have to answer before we can move into a first turning. I could be wrong, but I think it's a great. I mean,
it is a very important question. It is something that is very divisive, as you know.
Yeah.
It's not something that can be easily answered either. Because
my channel is not the place to figure it out. But
because it's going to take a lot of hard work on both sides to come up with a compromise that is going to be applicable. And that's the point that I really want to make. Compromise. We have lost the ability in this nation to compromise with each other. That's the one thing that politicians do not have anymore. That's the one thing that the fighting, the pundits, they just don't have the ability to see the other person's point of view and say, you know what, that's a valid point of view. I disagree with you. Here are the reasons why I disagree with you, but your point is valid and your opinion is valid. There's nothing wrong with that. People can't say that anymore. I don't know why. I don't know why it has become so egocentric to sit here and say to you, that's a very important point of view. I appreciate your bringing that up. But I can tell you, I don't think that's the level of whatever that a lot of, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm just trying to say we need to learn how to be disagreeable without being full of hatred, I guess.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to see the other perspective.
Sure.
And realize 100%. That you don't know that. Yeah. Like if we, what does happen? There are people there. Oh God. I don't.
Yeah. Let's steer into another direction. But again, these are the type of difficult things that we're going to have to kind of figure out before we can get into a first turning, because just something as simple as your side wins or your side loses, respect the fact that your side lost or your side won. And and
in reality, like every election, there's winners and losers on both sides. And the actual outcome is you have a coalition no matter what it is.
Right. Yeah.
I kind of wish we had a little bit more of a ability to have more voices in that coalition, a la some of the countries in Europe that have more representation than just two parties. But of course, there's countries that take it too far and have 13 different parties in their
and then
parliament. But there's got to be better than two. There's an equilibrium between 2 and 13 that you got to find. You know what I'm saying? but I mean, the bicameral works pretty good. You've got the population-based Congress, and you've got the 2 per state Senate, and you've got checks and balances on both sides. And
yep,
I gotta believe that system, which has lasted us for a good long time, is going to continue to provide the framework for positive national growth. And that is what I believe the Constitution is all about. It's just about positive national growth.
Right. And I agree with you on that. And it's our framework for this amazing place that we live. And we're gonna I think it's going to end up helping us work through this, but man, it's rough. Let's go ahead.
It is tough. I mean, you got to really change you got to really get into a different kind of mindset. We all got to get into this different kind of mindset of dealing with things, that aren't so black and white, that are a very grayish area,
Yeah, exactly. All right. Toward the first turning, let's close out this chapter and close out the week. Here we go. In 1781, as the British troops surrendered at Yorktown, American pipers played the song, "The World Turned Upside Down." That was indeed how history appeared to the Patriot Army, phalanx nearby, and in later secula to forces massed at the McLean House in Appomattox or on the deck of the Missouri. Having witnessed incredible convulsions of history, these troops presented themselves for one final confirmation of a new dawn, and then it was over. Their society remained mobilized for crisis, still bristling with war material, but now the troops were on their way home to chart different roles in what they hoped would be a calmer new era.
And they hope to get paid.
Yeah. when final treaties were crafted, reparations assessed, punishments meted out, or regencies managed, elders remained to close out the era. Benjamin Franklin did this in Philadelphia and Paris, the radical Republicans in Richmond and Washington, Douglas MacArthur in Asia, and George Marshall in Europe. That much was expected, but if the old priest warriors kept crusading, as Thaddeus Stevens tried to do with the impeachment of Andrew Johnson, they were ceremoniously but firmly nudged aside. It's an old story. Moses was not allowed to accompany Joshua into the promised land. No winter lasts forever. No winter lasts forever. Sorry.
I don't know. I need to look that up. I'm not that familiar with that biblical story. So I gotta look
that is correct. Moses led them to the promised land, but he did not go in.
Oh, but he wasn't allowed to go in.
That is correct. No winter.
Superman is Moses.
Yeah. No winter lasts forever. Howe Borland has written. No spring skips its turn. So is it with the final season of the Seculum. Of the 4 turnings, none spends its energy more completely than a crisis, and none has its end more welcomed. In nature, the frigid darkness serves a vital purpose, but only to enable what follows. Cold is agreeable, said Pascal, that we may get warm. If the crisis catalyst comes on schedule around the year 2005, then their climax will be due around 2020, the resolution around 2026. We're a little off, but not by much.
Yeah.
What will America be like as it exits the 4th turning? History offers no guarantees. Obviously, things could go horribly wrong. The possibilities ranging from a nuclear exchange to incurable plagues, from terrorist anarchy to high-tech dictatorship. We should not assume that Providence will always exempt our nation from the irreversible tragedies that have overtaken so many others. Not just temporary hardship, but debasement and total ruin. Since Vietnam, many Americans suppose they know what it means to lose a war. Losing in the next fourth turning, however, could mean something incomparably worse. It could mean a lasting defeat from which our national innocence and perhaps even our nation might never recover. As many Americans know from their own ancestral backgrounds, history provides numerous examples of societies that have been wiped off the map, ground into submission, or beaten so badly they revert to barbarism. The outcome of the next fourth turning will determine the enduring reputation of the unraveling era in which we now live. In the 1930s, the 1920s were blamed for everything that had gone wrong. After World War II was won, however, Americans began to look back more fondly on those roaring good times. Imagine how the 1920s would have looked in 1950 had the Great Depression never lifted, the Axis prevailed, or both. Now imagine the pre-crisis 1990s, all its O.J. Simpsons and Michigan militias, its Beavises and Buttheads and Crips and Bloods, its low voter turnouts and anguish over tiny cuts in Medicare's growth, all from the vantage point of America in the year 2030. If America plunges into an era of depression or violence, which by then has not lifted, we will likely look back in the 1990s as a decade when we valued all the wrong things and made all the wrong choices. If the fourth turning goes well, however, memories of the unraveling will be laced with nostalgic fun. More important, a good ending will probably mean that America has taken individual freedoms that now seem socially corrosive and embedded them constructively in a new social order. After the next fourth turning has solved the historical problems of our seculum, many of today's unraveling era social problems will be recognizable as worsening symptoms of what had to be and was fixed. In every seculum, the awakening gives birth to a variety of individual and social ideas that are mutually incompatible within the framework of the old institutional order. In the unraveling, the tension between wants and shoulds widens, sours, and polarizes. In the crisis, a new social contract reconciles these competing principles on a new and potentially higher level of civilization. In the following high, this contract provides the secure platform on which a new social infrastructure can be hoisted. In the parlance of its time, each of the past three crises resolved aggravating values struggles that had been building up over the prior seculum. The American Revolution resolved the 18th century struggle between commerce and citizenship. The Civil War resolved the early 19th century struggle between liberty and equality. The New Deal resolved the industrial era struggle between capitalism and socialism. What present-day tensions will the next fourth turning resolve? Most likely they will be culture wars, updates of the perennial struggle between the individual and the collective, with new labels dating back to our recent consciousness revolution. This time, the individual ideal goes under the rubric of choice, from marketplace choice to lifestyle choice, from choice about manners, appearance, or association to the choice of expression and entertainment. The social ideal goes under the rubric of community and points to where all of the various choices must be curtailed if we wish to preserve strong families, secure borders, rising living standards, a healthy environment, and all the other building blocks of a sustainable civilization.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah.
And like, it's interesting because if I were given that A and B choice versus community, I know which one I would choose.
Yeah.
Which one would you choose?
Choice between individual and community? Is that what you're asking?
No, it's the choice and community. That's the two.
Oh, choice and community.
Right.
Probably community.
Interesting.
But I don't,
because guess which one I choose?
Which one would you choose? Really?
Choice. Yeah.
Interesting.
Isn't
I haven't really thought about it, but that's my first reaction to that question. But I'm going to think on it.
But isn't that an interesting question? Because like, I don't know. I wonder if that's more of an individualistic ideal, right? Or is that a symptom of left versus right? Or
it could be.
Or I'm not sure. I mean,
I'm not 100% sure either. That was my first inclination.
My ultimate, because I don't like the fact that it says in order to preserve all of these things, you have to curtail choices. Right. At the same time, I want to have a society where you do still have the sense of community, but you still have the choice.
Right.
Why does one have to negate the other? That's my question.
I think maybe there is, in order to have the community, in order to have this nation, in order to have this community that we have, there has to be a framework in place. There has to be rules, and there has to be guardrails and structure in place, and that has to be maintained in order for there even to be a choice on things. So I think maybe they kind of go together in a way, but if you eliminate the framework and the structure and the guardrails and the rules that are put in place to create the society and community that we have, if you eliminate those, then I don't know how you maintain your civilization or maintain your community or your country.
It's like a thought. It is almost like a really good thought problem, because what type of society are you talking about now? Right. Because you're talking about a Lord of the Flies situation where you're a bunch of kids crash landing on an island. What's more important, individual choices or a sense of community? Well, there it's a sense of community because y'all got to survive.
Right.
Okay. But now we're not talking about that. We're talking about a fully formed society that already exists. So, it
exists, but can it hold?
But it did exist because it was created of a community. But now the question is, are you willing? I guess their point of their point here is that that's a one possibility of current issues that could be. And I could see that too. I could definitely see that because that's the basic libertarian versus big government argument.
I kind of see it as like the whole do fish know they're in water kind of a question, because like watching all these Europeans come over for the World Cup and seeing their reaction to our country and to our society and what our ancestors have built and what the things that are in place, and they talk about how different it is from where they are from. As Americans, do we realize the structures that are in place and the things that have been done to create what we have? It's not like this everywhere. Right. And so in order to keep that, in order to maintain that and to preserve that, how much choice can you give individuals? Because I'm a big freedom person. I want people to be free to do whatever they want to do and live the way that they want to live. But at the same time, we have to respect the fact that we have this setup that is very unique, and there's a framework to it that keeps this country, this community as it is. So, and I think that's based on the Constitution and things like that. So, you know what I'm saying? So,
it's the grand experiment.
Yeah.
We are the grand experiment, and let's not forget the experiment is still ongoing. It ain't finished.
Yeah, it is not. It is completely going. All right, let's finish out. In today's unraveling,
I thought that was a perfect seg to the finish, by the way.
Yes. In today's unraveling, with its mood of pessimism, a reconciliation between these opposing principles seems and probably is impossible. But come the fourth turning in the white heat of society's ekpyrosis and rebirth, a grand solution may suddenly snap into place. Once a new social contract is written and a new civic order established, it could eradicate or at least narrow many of the today's seemingly insoluble contradictions. For example, between no-fault divorce and dependable families, poverty assistance and the work ethic, or gun control and personal defense. Now, I see what they're saying here. If the next fourth turning concludes successfully, some great leader may be credited with saving individual empowerment by making it compatible with higher ideals of social responsibility, much as FDR was credited with saving capitalism while forging the New Deal, and Lincoln with extending liberty while redefining America's nationhood. This is how a triumphant fourth turning can establish a new high, a new golden age, a new plane of American civilization, a workable 21st century redefinition of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. However sober we must be about the dark possibilities of crisis, the record of prior fourth turnings gives cause for optimism. Yeah, here you go, Grendelson. With five of the past 6 crises, it is hard to imagine more uplifting finales. Even after the Civil War, the American faith and progress returned with new robustness. As a people, we have always done best when challenged. The new world still stands as a beacon of hope and virtue for the old, and we have every reason to believe this can continue. Whatever the outcome of the fourth turning, whatever its epirosis and new social contract, by its end, the mood of grim determination will feel unshakable. People will worry about what will happen once the storm clouds pass. As in the months after VJ Day, people will fear that their society might revert to its pre-crisis chaos, that it could again become like the 90s, with all that would entail. But on the brink of the new turning, they will be amazed at how ingrained their new civic habits have become. By the mid-2020s, the generational archetypes will be ready for something new. The fourth turning will be ready to expire when old prophets weaken, nomads tire of public urgency, and heroes feel hubris. This occurs around the time each archetype stands on the brink of a new life phase. The elder prophets, still leading the culture while vacating institutions, now worry about a society whose new materialism they find alien. The midlife nomads, sensing that the old crusades have run their course, now plan to fortify community discipline and narrow the scope of personal choice. The young adult heroes, energized by the success of collective action, now want to change society from the outside in. The child artists, credulous youths in a world of powerful adults, learn to trust conventions and prepare for ways to help others.
Well, I don't know about that. All they seem to want to do is...
I mean, we're still... This is what they're saying could happen in the next 5 years at the end of the climax going into the fourth, end of the fourth into the first. This is what they're predicting. By the middle 2020s, again, they're off about 3 to 5 years, so more like 2030. By the middle 2020s, the archetypal constellation will change as each generation begins entering a new phase of life. So we're about to hit elderhood. We're still in our oldest are still in their early 60s. So, but you know, we're going to hit elderhood in the oldest of us in the next 5 years. Once the great champion recedes yet again into history, younger people may still respect but will no longer heed the old moral imperatives, having wearied of the cost of principle. If the crisis ends badly, very old boomers could be truly despised. If it ends well, they will bask in grand encomia in a new golden era that will resemble the very kind of ordered society in which they were raised as children.
And they'll take the credit for it.
And they'll take the credit for it, yep. Many will seclude themselves deep in the woods or in dusty libraries. Oh, libraries, what are those? Exploring ways to bequeath to posterity their final states of consciousness. Like the 4 old men, Holmes, Longfellow, Whittier, and Lowell, whose portraits graced countless Gilded-era schoolrooms, the all-seeing eyes of old boomer titans will stare down on yet another child generation. Recalling of what old Susan B. Anthony did for the turn of the century women's movement, a few boomer antiques will exhort the young to rise against the post-crisis order and launch another 1960s-style awakening. Around the year 2050, to the delight of a few lingering ex-flower children straddling age 100, Pepperland will finally recur.
Oh, God.
God help us. Come the next high, at long last freed of the weight of boomers, 13ers will be America's new old fogies, widely perceived as old-fashioned, the only generation still rooted in the mostly forgotten pre-crisis past. If the crisis ends badly, they might provide the demagogues, authoritarians, even the tribal warlords who try to pick up the pieces. If the crisis goes well, its 13er generals may well become the U.S. presidents of the next high. Crusty conservatives, they will warn younger generations of the danger of rushing too swiftly into a world rigged with pitfalls. They will force the nation to produce more than it consumes, perhaps through stiff taxes and budget surpluses, exactly the opposite choices from the ones elders made in their own unraveling youth. Under 13er leadership, America will concentrate on building infrastructure and institutions, not on cultural depth or spiritual fervor. In the high, a stingier public treatment of old people will be taken for granted. Despite a rough and neglected elderhood, 13ers will find solace in seeing their children shoot past them in affluence and education. Of all today's generations, the millennials probably have the most at stake in the coming crisis. If it ends badly, they would bear the full burden of its consequence throughout their adult lives. If they come of age traumatized like the progressive youths of the Civil War, millennials will thereafter attend to the details of suffering and healing as heirs to the artist archetype. Yet if the crisis ends well, millennials will gain a triumphant reputation for virtue, valor, and competence. People of all ages will steer them vast fiscal rewards and build them grand monuments. Like the world-conquering GIs in midlife, millennials will feel intensely modern in science and taste. They will construct large new things, establish a powerful social regimen, and indulge their children. When a new awakening later erupts, the millennials will, for the first time, discover a generation that refuses to celebrate them, their own kids, freshly coming of age.
Well, I can only hope that happens to them, don't you? It's kind of like, yeah, I hope you get a generation that refuses to celebrate. And they pretty much are, they pretty much are. I don't think Gen Z and Gen Alpha really like millennials all that much.
I don't think they like anybody older than them.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah. A positive ending to the crisis will craft the new silent, or Gen Z, into the romantics, technicians, and aesthetes. I don't know what that word is. We gotta work.
Oh, that's like aesthetics. People who.
Okay.
Like high society.
I figured that was where the basis of that word was. A person who has or affects to have a special appreciation of art and beauty. That's the
people who live in New York.
Yeah.
Those people in New York in that Whit Stillman movie. Which one's the first one?
An exultant new order, feeling the emotional strains of their cloistered childhood and post-heroic youth. They will sing plaintive songs and tell ironic jokes about the brittle inequities of the new order. Though unable to match the millennial standard, they will be their able helpmates. If a prosperous new high thrust mankind deeper into space, the new silent could well be the first to reach other planets in a rocket fleet launched by the next John Kennedys and piloted by the next Neil Armstrongs. And if the crisis ends in triumph, what will come of the splendid new victory generation born just after it ends? As children, they will be indulged. As youths, they will revolt against the millennial-built world. In midlife, they will protect their children from civic decay. As elders, sometime around the year 2100, the great champion will appear yet again among them. History is seasonal, but its outcomes are not foreordained. Much will depend on how tall we stand in the trials to come. But there is more to do than just wait for that time to come. The course of our national and personal destinies will depend in large measure on what we do now as a society and as individuals to prepare.
So get your bunker ready. Go out and buy your canned goods and get your
water. So you get your water supply. Your power
get your water supply.
Your food storage. Yeah.
Water. Water world. The water is what's really going to be the next currency.
It could be
water is going to be
maybe Kevin Costner was totally ahead of its time on the whole idea. So yeah, guys, next week we will be getting into chapter 11, which is and it's actually also section 3, the final section of the book.
Oh my god.
Which is preparations. So that's what to do.
So it's going to tell us what we should have been doing the last 20 years.
Yes, exactly. So that will be next week. Will be chapter 11. And yeah, that was they got a lot right about us. And
they absolutely did. They absolutely did. And it's interesting to see what preparations they're going to tell us to do and see what we have done if we're ready for this. And of course, we're going to be another week closer to Armageddon. So, would be interesting things in the world. The World Cup's over, so you know that whole hey, it's we are the world spirit that we were feeling. That's over, and boy, it sure didn't take long for Spain and Argentina to get into it. So you know what I'm saying. Who knows what's going to be happening going forward, but one thing I do know that's going to be happening going forward is you're going to be giving away copies of the book that we're going to be doing, not this next round, but the round after this next book.
Yeah.
Yes. And
it'll probably start in September.
We gave you the phrase earlier. We're not going to repeat the phrase, but we will tell you that the phrase is the name of Nelson's first album.
Yes.
So you put the name of Nelson's first album in the chat or in the comment section below. You will be entered into the contest to win a copy of the book that we will be doing in September. Yes. So do that.
Yay. And it's a good one. You're going to love it. So,
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I know.
And I gotta find before we do it. I'm gonna have to find some packs of those trading cards so that we can do a live opening. There's a place out in industry called Frankensons, and it's basically it's like a mini comic book convention every weekend.
Oh, fun!
But it's full. It's always there, and there's a dealer there who has old packs of cards. I guarantee you, I'll find them there. So
awesome! I'm looking forward to it.
I gotta hit that up before September, and Nelson and Nelson was in the zeitgeist of LA radio this week. So
I love it.
We as a pod, you as a YouTuber, you are bringing Nelson back into the society. And Frankensons is the ultimate merch place. I find the prices to be too expensive, and it's a lot of the same stuff. But and I wish there was more vintage there, but it's a pretty good place. I'll say that. Every time I go there, I want to spend a lot more than I can.
I understand that feeling.
And actually, they have some really, really nice displays of old toys and stuff, like really nice collections. And they have like old McDonald land stuff. They have they practically have an entire McDonald land there. Oh, what's that? Is that they have like
my brother bought me a Dukes of Hazzard vintage lunchbox.
Ooh, does it have the thermos?
It has the thermos.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I got like a Boss Hog.
Boss Hog action figure? Nice.
Yes. Boss Hog action figure and Uncle Jesse.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a
Luke.
I got a Luke.
Nice.
Luke. I don't know if
don't you like how the fact that Luke and Bo have better articulation than anybody else?
Yes. Oh, there's Bo.
Nice. Oh, you got both of them. That's awesome. You know, there is a General Lee that goes along with that they can fit in.
Oh, that they can fit in?
But there's one that they can fit in. Yeah, there's also Daisy's.
P. Coltrane's car.
Those are the little die casts. Those came in a 4-pack. Yeah. There were 2 police cars, Boss Hog's car, and the General.
Nice.
I don't know nothing about Dukes of Hazzard merch.
Uncle Jesse's pickup truck. So these are actual die cast.
Yeah, those are from Ertl, I believe. If you look on the bottom.
Yep.
ERTL. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The action figures are from Mego. The Bo and Luke were their standard articulated bucks, and the other ones were just 5 POA. It's great. It's a good line. That's awesome. Those I would love to have that set. Actually, I would put that on display.
The only thing I don't have is it doesn't look. I don't have a Daisy. I got everybody.
Daisy's tough to find. Yeah. Daisy is tough to find, especially in good condition, because they didn't make as many of her because people don't think that girl action figures sell very well, and they didn't. So Daisy is kind of tougher to find. I know. Hey, I know. She has a Jeep too. There's actually it's easier to find them with the actual cars than it is.
Oh, well, there's her Jeep.
Yeah,
that's her
which there's a life-size Jeep for her too, for her action figure.
Oh wow!
And also, they made 8-inch figures at least of Bo and Luke.
I'm sure they did. That makes sense.
Yeah, Mego. Yeah, love Mego. Yes, Comic-Con is this week. I'm not going. I wish I were.
Oh, you're not going?
I haven't been since 1996. But I've been to 10 of them, but I haven't been since 96. My good friend Tom Ammon, shout out to Tom. He is going. He's taking his kids. So shout out to him. Also, I will shout out to my friends Lee Oath and Dan Davis. Both of them are muckety mucks in High Comic Con. They work for the Comic Con, so shout out to them. I want tickets for my kid after my kid turns 21. That's when I'll call in my favors.
That makes sense.
You are on notice. I will wait. Nice. I will wait until 2028 when he's 21, and we will be able to go because I will call that up. But gosh, I wish I were down there this week. It's going to really hit me tomorrow once people start showing up. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whenever I'm not working, I'll be glued to the internet, just looking up live streams. And, it's terrible for me. I want to be there so bad. I could not afford being there at all. But I got to tell you, man, some of my fondest memories happened at Comic-Con. I have stories up the wazoo and stories I'll never tell. And things I can't remember. Things that happen.
That should be the name of your podcast. Stories I'll never tell.
I mean,
just tease and then not say it.
Just one. I'll give one little itty bitty thing.
Okay.
Right before Eastman and Laird sold the Turtles to, not sold the Turtles, but did the deal for the TV show. They were working at Comic-Con and they were still just publishing books and they were there, both of them at their table. I talked to them. They gave me a really cool piece of artwork that's a printer's proof of one of the t-shirts that would come out later that year.
Oh, wow.
And I have an original sketch from Kevin Eastman of a turtle.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah.
And that was in 1987 or 88.
I was going to say it had to be late 80s.
I think it was 87 because I don't think the TV show wasn't out yet.
Gotcha.
And of course, 40 years ago this year was the premiere of Transformers the movie, which I was at Comic-Con.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Transformers
the movie. It was so cool. They did such an awesome presentation. I wish I could be there this year. It's killing me, but have a blast. And I know it's tomorrow. The thing is I can't go without getting in for free anymore. And that's the problem.
That's the problem. I understand that.
I used to get in for free. I don't want to pay.
Well, this was a great discussion tonight. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of chapters. I think it's going to be a even more great discussion. The chat, great. You guys were awesome. Appreciate all your questions and comments. And next week we're going to find out what we should have been doing these past 20 years and maybe get some insights into what we still can do over the next 5.
That's what I'm hoping. Like, what can we still do now to avoid the or to be at least ready to kind of roll with the punches?
Right.
I don't know. I'm really starting to. I'm going to spread some optimism. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to spread optimism. I think that we need voices to bring us together and just despite the differences and just say, you know what, we're going to have differences, that's it. We're going to have differences. But I'll tell you what, we both love freaking Dukes of Hazzard. And Sorrel Book was a freaking genius. He was a method actor, but he was a freaking genius. That character, man, I can watch Dukes of Hazzard to this day and appreciate any given episode for exactly what it is and what it brings to the table. Yes. Dukes of Hazzard is great. And I'll tell you also what's great. You watch those first 6 or 8 episodes of Dukes of Hazzard when it was actually filmed in Georgia and it's a lot closer to the movie. Those are so good. The rest of the show is like Flanderized. But that first season of Dukes of Hazzard, man, I'm telling you, it was zeitgeist and it captured something. Yes, I love Dukes of Hazzard. I don't know why. I mean, I always have. You would not think
good
it, but
old boy never made no harm.
Beats all you never saw.
Been in trouble with
the law since the day they was born.
All right, Grendelson, thank you so very, very much, guys. I will see you all next Tuesday. Don't forget, tomorrow night on the Discord, we were watching Little House on the Prairie and Cobra Kai. Thursday is Incredible Hulk and Las Vegas. Friday night back here for my so-called live stream. My next video should hopefully be out in the next couple of days. Fingers crossed. I got a lot going on in my world.
Is that
over
part
here,
3?
So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, part 3,
3,
the end. Yes.
The end.
The end. Thank you all. Have a great night, Reynolds, and talk to you later. Bye,
Nelson
guys.
out.